The throne room of the celestial court gleamed with bioluminescent crystal, casting everything in shades of violet and silver. I stood at the center of it all, acutely aware that every eye in the chamber was fixed on me, the human who had somehow become entangled in imperial politics light years from Earth. Queen Thessara sat upon her throne, a vision of regal authority. Her skin was a deep crimson like polished ruby, and elaborate golden patterns traced along her neck and arms, markings that denoted her royal bloodline. Her eyes were an unsettling pure white without iris or pupil, yet I could feel the weight of her gaze. Twin crests of bone swept back from her temples, adorned with jewels that caught the light with every slight movement of her head. "Captain Hayes," she said, her voice resonating through the chamber. "You have served our empire well in the negotiations with the border colonies. For this, we wish to honor you with a gift." I shifted uncomfortably in the formal attire they'd given me, something between a military uniform and ceremonial robes. "Your Majesty, my service was simply—" She raised one elegant hand, silencing me. "Among my people, the greatest honor we can bestow upon an outsider is the selection of a royal companion. One who will guide you in our ways, teach you our culture, and ensure your integration into our society." My stomach dropped. I'd heard about this custom during my briefings, but I'd never imagined it would apply to me. "3 candidates have been chosen," Thessara continued, "each of exceptional standing. You will select one." The massive doors at the far end of the throne room opened, and 3 women entered in single file, each more stunning than the last. The first was tall and lithe, with skin the color of deep ocean blue. Her name, announced by the royal herald, was Kyra of House Meridian. Her silver hair was braided in intricate patterns that spoke of military achievement, and she moved with the deadly grace of a trained warrior. Her eyes, a striking violet, assessed me with the calculating gaze of someone used to evaluating threats and assets. The second was softer in appearance, though no less impressive. Yevra of House Luminous had skin that shifted between pale gold and cream, like sunlight through clouds. Her hair was a cascade of copper waves, and her eyes were a warm amber. She smiled gently as she took her place, and there was genuine kindness in her expression. The herald announced her accomplishments in scholarly pursuits, a master of xenolinguistics and cultural studies. The third made my breath catch. Her skin was a luminous pearl white with the faintest hint of pink undertones, like the inside of a seashell. Hair the color of moonlight fell in straight, silken sheets to her waist. Her eyes were different from the others, a soft, iridescent blue that seemed to hold entire galaxies. She wore robes of pure white trimmed with silver, simpler than the elaborate garments of the other 2, yet somehow more elegant. The herald's voice took on a different quality as he announced her. "Lady Niara of House Starweave, first attendant to Her Majesty Queen Thessara, keeper of the royal archives and honored companion to the throne." The Queen's favorite. It was written in every detail. The position she took closest to the throne, the way the Queen's expressionless white eyes seemed to track her movement, the sudden tension that rippled through the court. Niara didn't look at me. She kept her gaze respectfully lowered, but I could see the slight tension in her shoulders, the way her fingers trembled almost imperceptibly where they were clasped in front of her. "You may approach the candidates," Thessara said. "Ask what you will, take whatever time you need to decide." I walked toward them slowly, my mind racing. This wasn't just about selecting a companion. This was a political minefield. Each woman represented a different faction, a different house, a different power base within the empire. Kyra met my gaze directly as I approached. "Captain Hayes," she said formally, "I am a warrior scholar of House Meridian. I can teach you the ways of combat and strategy that have kept our empire secure for 3,000 years. With me, you will learn to navigate the dangerous currents of court politics and emerge victorious." Her offer was practical, strategic. An alliance with House Meridian would give me powerful military backing. I moved to Yevra next. She gave me that same gentle smile. "Captain Hayes, I know this must be overwhelming for you. Everything about our world is strange, our customs foreign. I can help bridge that gap. I've studied Earth culture extensively, your literature, your art, your history. Together, we could foster greater understanding between our peoples." Diplomatic, thoughtful. House Luminous was known for their scholarly pursuits and their influence in education and cultural matters. Finally, I stood before Niara. She still hadn't looked up. "Lady Niara," I said softly. Her eyes flicked up to meet mine for just a moment, and in that instant I saw something unexpected: fear. Not of me, but of this situation, of what my choice might mean. "Captain Hayes," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I am the Queen's first attendant. My duties keep me close to Her Majesty at all times. I manage the royal archives and oversee the historical records of the Empire. She hesitated. "I would not be able to give you the freedom that the others could offer. My life is bound to service." It was the least appealing offer by far, and yet I stepped back looking at all three again. Kyra, confident and powerful. Yevra, kind and knowledgeable. Niara, trapped and terrified. The choice should have been obvious. Kyra would give me protection and influence. Yevra would make my life easier, help me understand this alien world. Niara would complicate everything, potentially offending the Queen by taking her most valued companion, or worse, be seen as currying favor by choosing her favorite. I turned to face Queen Thessara. Her white eyes revealed nothing. "Your Majesty," I said clearly, my voice carrying through the silent chamber, "I choose Lady Niara of House Starweave." The silence that fell was absolute. Even the ambient hum of the bioluminescent crystals seemed to quiet. Thessara's expression remained unreadable, but I saw her fingers tighten almost imperceptibly on the armrest of her throne. Beside me, I heard Niara's sharp intake of breath. "You are certain?" the Queen asked, her voice carefully neutral. "I am. This is unexpected," Thessara said slowly. "Lady Niara is essential to the functioning of the royal household. Her duties are extensive and demanding." "I understand, Your Majesty, but you asked me to choose, and I have chosen." For a long moment, the Queen simply stared at me. Then finally, she inclined her head slightly. "So be it. Lady Niara, you will attend to Captain Hayes and instruct him in our ways while maintaining your current duties. You are dismissed to prepare." Niara bowed deeply, shot me one quick, unreadable glance, and fled the throne room. The formal ceremony concluded, and I was escorted to my quarters, a lavish suite in the palace's east wing. I'd barely had time to process what I'd just done when a sharp knock sounded at the door. I opened it to find Niara standing there, still in her white robes, but with her composure clearly frayed. "May I enter?" she asked tightly. "Of course." She swept past me, then turned to face me, her iridescent eyes blazing. "What were you thinking? Do you have any idea what you've just done?" She continued, her voice rising. Do you understand the implications? I chose the person I wanted to choose, I said calmly. You chose the Queen's favorite, Niara practically shouted. Her closest companion, the one person in this entire empire she trusts above all others. I know who you are. Then why? The anger drained from her voice, leaving only confusion and something that might have been hurt. Kyra could have protected you. Yevra could have taught you everything you needed to know. I'm trapped between you and the Queen now, don't you see? If I serve you well, I neglect her. If I serve her, I fail you. You've put me in an impossible position. I took a step closer. Or I've given you a choice you didn't have before. She stared at me. What? I saw your face when you were announced, I said quietly. You were terrified, not of being chosen, but of not being chosen, because if you weren't selected, you'd go right back to your golden cage, wouldn't you? Forever the Queen's favorite, never your own person. Niara's eyes widened. You chose me to free me. I chose you because you're the only one who didn't want to be here, I said. The only one who wasn't calculating political advantage or cultural influence. You just wanted to escape, even for a moment. She sank down onto one of the ornate chairs, her hands shaking. You're either incredibly perceptive or incredibly foolish. Probably both. A sound escaped her, half laugh, half sob. The Queen will never forgive this. She values me above all her other attendants. You've essentially asked for her most prized possession. You're not a possession, I said firmly. You're a person. Not in her eyes, Niara whispered. In her eyes, I'm the daughter she never had, the protege she molded, the one who understands her completely. And now you've taken me. I sat down across from her. Then we'll figure it out together. I'll talk to the Queen, explain that you can still serve her while. No, Niara interrupted. You don't understand. The Queen doesn't share, ever. That's why she's never taken a consort, never allowed anyone to truly close, except me. And now, she looked up at me with those galaxy eyes. Now she'll test you, test us both, to see if you're worthy of what you've claimed. What kind of test? I don't know yet, but it will come. She stood abruptly. I need to return to my duties. The archives won't manage themselves, and the Queen will expect my evening report as always. Niara, wait, she paused at the door. I meant what I said, I told her. You deserve to be more than someone's favorite. You deserve to be yourself. Her expression softened slightly. You're very strange, Captain Hayes, for a human. I'll take that as a compliment. It was meant as one. And then she was gone. The next morning, I was summoned to the Queen's private study. It was smaller than the throne room, but no less impressive, with walls lined with ancient texts and star maps. Thessara stood by the window, gazing out at the palace gardens. Captain Hayes, she said without turning. Sit. I took the indicated chair, waiting. You chose Niara, she said flatly. Yes, your majesty. Why? I could have lied, could have cited political reasons or strategic value, but something told me Thessara would see through any deception. Because she wanted to be chosen, I said honestly, and because she deserves the chance to be something other than your shadow. Thessara turned then, and for the first time I saw genuine emotion on her face, a flash of something that might have been anger or pain or both. You presume to know what she deserves? No, your majesty, but I know what she wants. I saw it in her eyes. And what do you think she wants? Freedom, I said simply. The freedom to choose her own path. To be valued for herself, not just for how well she serves you. The Queen was silent for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, she smiled, a small, sad expression. You're right, of course. I've kept her too close, held on too tightly. I told myself it was for her own good, that she needed my guidance, my protection. But really, I was being selfish. I didn't want to lose the one person who truly understood me. Your Majesty. No, let me finish. She moved to sit across from me. Niara came to me as a child, an orphan from House Starweave after a political purge. I raised her, taught her, made her essential to my court, and in doing so I made her my prisoner. She's still here, I said, still serving you. But now she has a choice, Thessara said. That's what you've given her, and that's why I will accept your selection, Captain Hayes, even though it pains me. She leaned forward, her white eyes intense. But understand this. If you hurt her, if you use her for political gain, if you treat her as anything less than the extraordinary person she is, I will personally ensure you regret it for whatever remains of your very short life. Understood, Your Majesty? Good. She stood, and I followed suit. You may go, and Captain? Yes. Thank you for seeing what I was too blind to see. Over the following weeks, Niara and I developed an unusual routine. She would attend to the Queen's needs during the day, managing the archives and serving as first attendant. In the evenings, she would come to my quarters and we would talk about everything and nothing. About her childhood, my life on Earth, the vast differences in our cultures, the surprising similarities. Slowly, carefully, she began to open up, to smile more freely, to offer opinions rather than calculated responses, to be Niara, not just the Queen's favorite. And I realized that I hadn't just chosen her to set her free. I'd chosen her because from that first moment, when our eyes met and I saw the real person beneath the role, I'd been drawn to her in a way I couldn't explain. One evening, as we sat together watching the twin moons rise over the palace gardens, she turned to me suddenly. "Why did you really choose me?" she asked. "The truth this time." I met her iridescent gaze. "Because when I looked at you, I didn't see a political alliance or a cultural guide. I saw someone who needed saving as much as I did, and I thought, maybe we could save each other." Her hand found mine, fingers intertwining. "You were right," she whispered. And as the moons painted everything in silver light, I knew that pointing straight at the Queen's favorite had been the most dangerous, foolish, and absolutely right decision I'd ever made.